I run a meme page on Facebook. I know. It's exciting, the stuff of dreams. You can only imagine what a fulfilling life I lead, succumbing to all the neckbeard, Mountain Dew chugging, socially inept 28-year-old virgin stereotypes that come with it. Still, it's a laugh. It makes for a good time with friends. That's really the only reason we have it, but that's irrelevant right now. I'm here to tell you about the negative side effects that come with it. For those of you who aren't familiar with the page, I'll give you a general idea of the motif of what we post. Visually displeasing things. It sounds pretty weird at first, right? Why would you subscribe to a page full of images that make you physically uncomfortable? Your feed will just be flooded with them, appearing without warning between your aunt's latest gardening pictures and your drunk friend's incoherent 2 a.m. ramblings. Why make an already weird website even weirder? But, for whatever reason, people decided to, and continue to decide to, do so. We found a niche audience, and man do they love it. The page blew up. In fact, I fear it blew up too fast. We found ourselves with thousands of likes in no time. Of course, with those thousands of likes comes thousands of messages, which is where it gets weird. As you can imagine, people send us submissions, a lot of them. Most of them without context either. Just scrolling through the inbox is one hell of a ride, let me tell you that. But there's the occasional message that stands out through the cesspit that is the rest. In this case, Reese Michaels was the one that really struck me. Having gone through so many submissions, you begin to get a premonition about which messages are worth clicking on and which ones you may as well skim over. A sixth sense for memes, almost. I'm going to refrain from saying that seriously because I don't want to admit to myself that my life is derailed so far. Regardless, Reese's messages were ones I decided to click on. At first, the images were fine. He'd done what a few people sometimes did and just submitted a batch of photos he thought were suitable for the page. I glimpsed through them. There were a couple we'd posted before. The cat claws pulling out the human skin. The smile with absurdly many teeth. Even the god-awful image of putting the spread on the outside of the sandwiches. God, I still clench every time I see that one. However, there were more. There were new ones. There was a train completely perpendicular to the tracks it was supposed to be on. A dead bird propped up in its bird bath. A gif of somebody spreading butter between their toes. You get the gist. Displeasing stuff. I gave him one of the standard replies of, "Thanks for the submissions, Brody, stealing a few," and left it at that. I scheduled the posts for the next few days and went about my day-to-day life, thinking that was it. Boy, was I wrong. I checked back later to see how the first post had done. It only had one reaction. Now, this never happens. Ever. Some of our posts completely flop, and after a few hours we'll only have 300 or so reactions on them. But I'd never seen it where, after being up for a few hours, there was only one react. It was surprisingly disconcerting. Naturally, I checked who it was. To my surprise, it was Reese Michaels. He was the single reactor, blessing the post with a solitary, angry face. Strange, sure, but I imagined it was just Facebook doing its usual hiccup. I refreshed the page, but it didn't have any effect. Shrugging it off, I went back to my personal feed and absorbed myself in the content there. I didn't check the page for the rest of the night. I went about the day as I did any other, checking the page only in the evening. When I finally got around to looking, I was shocked. The image still only had one react, and not only that, but none of my other scheduled posts had appeared either. In fact, when looking for them, I couldn't find them in the queue log at all. The whole situation was quite perplexing. Deciding to investigate, I went back into the inbox and scrolled back until I could find Reese's messages. Sure enough, there they were, still marked as read. Clicking into them, I was instantly met with a sense of unease. All of his images had changed. Now, instead of an assortment of colours and gross pictures, his batch of submissions formed a single image, a face staring back at me. The face was of an old man, looking withered, an angry stare emblazoned on his face. I clicked a random image in the set, one containing his eye. As soon as the image loaded to full size, it became apparent it was different. Now it was a GIF, and instead of just his eye sitting there stationary, a bug was crawling around beneath his eyelid, paused only to stop over the white of his eye, and then scuttled back to shelter. I closed the image quickly and opened another. This was of his chin. Except, once again, once I opened it, it was different. This time, it was of a naked girl, not much older than her late teens, wearing a ram's head and dancing around a pole. I sat there, watching this for a while, engrossed in the circular pattern she kept dancing around, trying to figure out where the gift looped. It seemed too seamless. Then, as if reading my mind, the girl in the picture turned and faced towards me, picking up a stick off the ground. She stood there for a moment, yelled, and charged towards. Now I swear, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's not possible, but I swear on my life, I actually heard a scream. It wasn't even in my headphones. No, it was directly in my head. I kicked back in my chair as this happened, watching as the stick flew from my hand towards my screen. In my panic, I must have accidentally hit the mouse and sent it flying, because the image suddenly vanished as it backed out into the main inbox message. My mouse hung there next to me, dangling limply over the edge of the desk. Recovering myself, I righted the mouse, placing it back next to my keyboard. Hesitantly, but stupidly as the fool I am, I moved the cursor back over his chin and opened the image again. The girl was back to how she was, dancing merrily around the pole in the middle of the image. I exited rather quickly that time. I went through a few more images. His ear led to a still shot of a field, but the more I focused, the more I noticed that hidden around it were cows. These strange cows, with their meekly lit eyes, glaring back at me from the most unusual of places. One piece of his hair led to a gif of a mole swinging gently back and forth in a noose. His nose to an oversaturated cliff with the outline of a man falling over the edge. The whole thing was the strangest encounter I'd ever found myself in. After I'd gone through enough to make me suitably uncomfortable, and with all my years of wisdom, I made the authoritative yet predictably dumb decision to message him again. I hit him up with a nice and casual, "Dude, what the hell?" Not even a second after clicking enter, his response came through. It was an exact replica of mine, down to even the number of question marks. Leaving the page's inbox, I swapped back to my personal one and messaged the admin group chat, asking them if they'd seen his weird messages as well. None of them could even see the post I'd made, let alone his messages. Apparently, I was alone in this. Completely and utterly alone. It made no sense, but these things rarely do. So, I took the easy way out. I blocked him. More precisely, I blocked him as the page and went back and deleted the post I'd made from the image he sent. I thought that would be the end of it, and so it was. For a while at least. The other admins went back to talking about some random stuff I didn't care for, and I went to sleep, trying to push the whole thing from my mind. When I woke this morning, I noticed I had a friend request on my personal account. Of course, my mind instinctively flew to the right answer. Yes, as I expected, but more importantly feared. It was from Reese Michaels. As I sat there staring at it, another friend request popped up, also from Reese Michaels. The profile pictures were identical, and there they sat. One friend request on top of the other. Odd and uncomforting, but not quite strange enough to be eerie. Then, it happened again, and again, and again. Each time the same person appearing on top of his previous requests. Each time the new request coming in faster than the last, until it was just a constant flurry of requests coming in. I quit the app at that point. In fact, to save myself from the constant stream, I turned my whole phone off and chucked it in the corner of my room. I've been on my PC since then, too afraid to open a new tab, type F, then watching as that horrifying autocomplete fills in the rest, leaving me only to need to press enter and submerge myself back into the nightmare. I'm not sure what to do at this point. I can't spend the rest of my life too scared to go on Facebook because of a weird account that's been messaging me. But at the same time, I'm not going on Facebook. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you guys know what had happened because it seriously freaks me out. I'm kinda spun out still, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. I'm going to have to. Just, remember to stay safe online, kids. Don't open strangers' messages or anything. I don't want any of you ending up as paranoid as I am. Whatever, I'm rambling at this point. Point is, be smart.